The following program is being brought to you on the Voice America Women's Channel. For more information about our network and to check out additional show hosts and topics of interest, please visit voiceamericawomen.com. The Voice America Talk Radio Network is the worldwide leader in live Internet talk radio. Visit voiceamerica.com. The views and ideas expressed on the following program are strictly those of the host or guests and do not necessarily reflect the views and ideas held by the Voice America Talk Radio Network, its staff, and management.
Welcome to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with Rebecca Hall Gruyter. In our program each week, we provide the tools, ideas, and encouragement to help you move ahead on your journey, becoming a more powerful and impactful woman in your own life. Now here's your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter.
Welcome, everyone. I hope that you're having an amazing week, and I'm excited to have you join us for this special series that we're doing. This series is all about coming out of hiding and really learning how to shine. And it's in honor of our forthcoming book that will be released in September of 2016. And so we actually have asked a number of our co-authors to come together and share from their hearts. You get a feel of who these authors are on a personal level, why they're part of this exciting project and book, and some of what you can expect, so a little bit of a preview, should you feel drawn or called to this book. So we wanted to kind of give you an inside view of our forthcoming book. The book that will be coming out is called Come Out of Hiding and Shine. And this is something that has really been laid on my heart. And so I'm very honored to be leading the charge, leading this project, being the compiler of this anthology, and had over 30 individuals come alongside me saying, Rebecca, that message resonates with me. I want to be part of this book. I want to share my story. I want to share my journey of coming out of hiding and shining, and how I discovered to step into my voice or into my message or share more of who I am, how I learned to really shine. And so they're sharing their journey with you, their hard-loved and lived wisdom and experience, so that you can really go forth in life and shine. I hope that you join us for this entire series. I'm very excited as I showcase each of the authors with you, so that you can hear their heart, their passion, their message. It has been such an honor to lead this project, to hear their stories. And many of these authors I've known for many years, but they are sharing on an additional level. I'm learning new things about each of them, their authenticity, their vulnerability, their wisdom, and their heart is transforming me as I get to partake in their stories and bring them together into this powerful collection that we're going to be releasing and sharing with the world. So I hope that you watch for those emails so that you can get on our list and really be the first to have the opportunity to lean into this book. It will be released both in an electronic format, Kindle, as well as in a soft cover in a paperback form. So watch for those emails, watch for that communication. If you want to make sure that you're on the list, I'll let you know how to do that towards the end of our call, so make sure to listen in. But let's take a moment to explore what this book's all about. So my journey has really been coming out of hiding and shining. I am an expert in hiding, and I'm an expert in not hiding. So kind of coming through that. And for those of you who don't know my story, you're going to see some of this in the book. But if we go back in time to me as a little girl, I came from a very unsafe environment. It was very abusive in a lot of different ways as a little girl, from age 5.5, to almost 13. And I actually had to keep visiting that environment until 18. So there were a lot of wounds that I experienced. And what I learned during that time as I was seeking to survive is that I'm not okay. It must be my fault. I'm not lovable, and it's absolutely not safe to be seen or to be heard. And I was eventually rescued, which I'm very grateful for, and I went on a healing journey. And that is the journey that I share about in the book, where I really discovered how to come out of those lies, because they were not truth, that needed to be echoed forward. I discovered on that journey that I was lovable, that it wasn't my fault, and that it is absolutely safe to be seen and heard, and in fact, to shine. And that's my heart in this book, and what I want you to be able to do in your life. That I want you to echo you forward powerfully to the world. But it's a choice that we get to make. And you'll hear more details of my story and some of that journey. But I wanted you to know I didn't come forth in life ready to be a talk show, radio show host, and a best-selling author, and a television show host, and a channel and network owner, and lead events and programs. That's not how I started. It was a journey to get there. And we just take one step at a time. But it makes a difference when we're willing, and it's so worth the journey. I'm so honored and privileged to be able to interact in your lives in this way, to be able to lead a project like this, and to bring so many people's wisdom, expertise, and heart forward in this project to come out of hiding and shine. I know it'll powerfully enrich your lives, as this special radio show series will as well. So I encourage you to lean in. Let's take a collective breath together as we give you a preview of some of what you can look forward to receiving in this book. But in this quiet space, I invite you to put one hand on your heart, one hand on your head. Those of you who are driving, however, please keep both hands on the wheels. Stay safe. Just inwardly tune in. Those of you who are able to, though, put one hand on your heart, one hand on your head. Take a big, deep belly breath. Eyes closed. Breathe out like you're breathing through a straw. One more big belly breath. And in this space, I encourage you to lean into what is it you need today? What is it that will empower and encourage you on your journey? What is it that would help you shine just a little bit more? Be seen a little bit more. Some of your uniqueness, your you-ness. What is it you need? Receive that information. Go ahead and take one more big belly breath. Breathe out. Come back into the room. Open up your eyes. And I invite you to write down what it is that you need today, that you are actively looking for, that you're leaning into, that you're receiving, that will help you come out of hiding and shine, that will help you be seen just a little bit more, one step at a time, because it's a huge gift as we are willing to do that. And I want us to serve and support you during our time together to shine. Beautiful. One more big breath. And today, we actually have 3 experts that are joining us from the book. You're going to hear from 2 Kathleens. So we have Kathleen squared today and Nancy. And I wanted to open up the floor so you could hear a little bit about them and their hearts. So Kathleen Zemansky, did you have something laid upon your heart that you wanted to share with us today?
Yeah, and I know this. Hello, everyone, and thank you, Rebecca, for having me on the program today. And as a part of this book, I am writing on the wave of a beautiful family vacation that I went away, just to see my family and reuniting with my husband. It's just appreciation, just full-blown appreciation and love. That it's just that line of, it's a reciprocal, like, we're so happy to see each other, we're holding each other, and because we haven't done it in so long with my husband, of course, but I haven't seen my whole family in 3 years together. I mean, separately, and so I think it was just full gratitude and appreciation that I'm just riding on that wave of knowing that gratitude really is heartfelt, and that's what came for me today.
Beautiful. Well, we all lean into that. Thank you for sharing. And Nancy, I didn't know if you had something laid up on your heart.
Yeah, Rebecca, thank you so much. And thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be on the show today. I really appreciate that. What came to me, and this is because I'm going through a very large transition in letting go of a lot of what my life has looked like and moving into a lot of unknown territory. And what came to me, which comes to me quite often, is the beautiful phrase I learned from my spiritual guidance training years ago: trust that my soul knows the way, even though my ego doesn't. And that I can rest in the wisdom and in the love and in the guidance that comes from my deep heart where my soul lives, that it will guide me through this reinvention of who I am.
Beautiful. Thank you. Trust your soul knows the way. So powerful. Thank you. And Kathleen Sims, did you have something on your heart to share?
I do, and again, it's so wonderful to be with you, Rebecca. We always have such joyful fun together on the radio. What comes to my mind is how important contemplation is and divine messages. I've been reflecting in writing the chapter for this wonderful book, reflecting my whole life, actually, and seeing how I, in crisis and in important quiet times, got divine messages and guidance, and how much that's formulated my whole life. And that's what I'm going to be sharing with people. I'm excited about that.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. And it is a pleasure to have all of you joining us, all of you listeners and my amazing guests for today. Thank you for sharing your hearts and messages with us, and you'll hear all of them are echoing different things that have been laid upon their heart. And I encourage you, listener, to see what is being placed upon your heart. What is it that you need? What message did you receive as you're reflecting on shining, on being seen just a little bit more, one step at a time? And my message is just deep appreciation and honor. And I'm very humbled. It's been such an honor to be leading this project, to be entrusted with your powerful messages and your authentic and transparent hearts. And listeners, I feel that way about you. Many of you reach out to me and share your journey with me. And it is such a rich experience, and I'm so deeply honored and really looking forward to the conversation that we're going to be having today and sharing with you. So as we go into this commercial break, I invite you to stay in this place of reflection and receiving. And we'll look forward to talking to you in just a moment.
Age with Attitude TV is for the woman who does not see her future as a nice little old lady, but rather she sees herself living a bold, juicy, kick-ass second half. Now, if this is the life you want for your second 50, then Age with Attitude TV is for you. You'll find stories to inspire you, plus money and metabolism tips that really work. Check it all out at agewithattitude.tv, presented by Jan Rose Distel. Find us on voiceamerica.tv. And remember, it's never too late to create a life you love.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Are you ready for your rush of success? I'm Jim T. Chong, the walk star.
And I'm Cammie Ferry, the theater queen, the host of Rush Hour for Success on Money 105.5 on Thursdays and Fridays at 2 p.m. It's about getting entertained and getting solutions for your success in life and business.
Visit us on Facebook at Money 105.5 FM Rush Hour for Success, or download the Money 105.5 app on your phone for the live stream. That's Thursdays and Fridays, 2 p.m. Pacific Time. Get entertained,
get educated, and get your rush on
Rush Hour for Success.
The Voice America Women's Channel.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-613-1612. That's 1-866-613-1612. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you took the opportunity to reflect and receive and really spend a moment listening to what it is that you need. What will serve and support you? Or what message did you receive that you want to really richly take within and move forward? We can move so quickly in life, we can miss those pauses and opportunities to receive and be nourished and be equipped and make sure that the things that we're stepping forward into are the things that matter to us, that we're not operating autopilot, but really on purpose and with purpose. So I invite you to really take each of these commercial breaks as an opportunity to do that real time. Carve out that time for you to receive, to lean into you. I encourage you as well to listen to what we share during those commercial breaks, as they are put together on purpose for you by organizations and individuals that believe this work that we do, empowering women, transforming lives, is important. And so much so, they're willing to put their time, energy, brand, and resources behind that. So they're absolutely leaning into you. So I encourage you to lean into them as well. Get to know them. Plus, we're going to have amazing updates and shares that you'll find during those commercial breaks as well. So a lot of rich experience you can have 2 minutes at a time throughout our show. So I encourage you to leverage and use every piece of what we are sharing and serving to you during our time. Well, I opened up our time together today talking about coming out of hiding and shine, and the book that will be coming out in September 2016. We're super excited. And you heard a little bit of the heart of our co-authors that are joining us today. Now, what I wanted to do is actually formally introduce them to you, and I've asked them to each share the title of their chapter, so you can hear a little snippet of what their title is around this project, and why they decided to be part of this book. I wanted you to really hear their heart in why they were called to be part of this book, because not everybody was. But those who were, they definitely knew they were called to share something in this book and be part of that project. So I wanted them to share that why with you. So the first person I wanted to introduce you to is Kathleen Zemansky, and she is a business feng shui master. She's actually part of our Voice America family here as well. She's a radio talk show host on the business channel here and is passionate about generating greater peace and understanding in the world. Please lean in and warmly welcome the amazing Kathleen Zemansky.
Well, thank you, Rebecca. I, again, appreciate the opportunity to be in this book. It really, to me, I'm just so honored that you asked, one, and that I finally stepped up and said yes. So there you go.
Well, I am glad as well. So very honored to have you as part of this project, part of this book. And I'd love for you to share with our listeners the name of your chapter and why, what in your heart, why you were drawn to be part of this project.
Well, thank you for the question. I really thought about, why I wanted to be in this book when I was first asked about it. So the title of my chapter is On the Brink of Brilliance. Mm-hmm. And the reason that I chose that is that all throughout my feng shui career, which going into 16 years, has been on that brink. It's just like, I know that I can, be something bigger and get my message out wider. But there was always something that was stopping me, which is really the premise of the book, of what was stopping me along the way. And some of it had a lot to do with me as well. But there's also a secondary reason. I'm a first-time published author because of the opportunity to be in the chapter. And, it's kind of like you can eat the elephant only a bite at a time. Taking on the book, because I've always wanted to publish my own book, and it's not because people were telling me, although they were, it was I really wanted to be published. And just taking on a full-blown project by myself seemed too daunting, so you actually helped me open this portal to step into the chapter. So this is opening up a wider opportunity moving forward.
I love it. Well, thank you for saying yes, and I'm honored to have you part of this and project. And everyone, this is her stepping forward and being the author and bringing her brilliance in that way to the world. So I celebrate that, and thank you for sharing. Wonderful. Love it.
Thank you.
Now, our next co-author I wanted to highlight is Kathleen Sims. And she is the co-founder of the Center for Conscious Living, a love expert. And I say it love because whenever I think of you, Kathleen, and love, it's just this oozy, juicy, wonderful kind of feeling. A love expert on all levels, best-selling author multiple times over, and she is passionate about healing the world by spreading love one heart at a time. Let's warmly welcome the amazing Kathleen Sims to the show. Welcome.
Whoopee. Thank you. That's great. Juicy is the word that comes to mind.
Yep. So listen to how she says love and hear the energy of it as she shares.
Yes, love.
Exactly. I love it. And do you mind sharing the title of your chapter and why you decided to be part of this project?
Absolutely, and thank you for asking. Two reasons that just really stand out. One is what I'm up to in the world and what you're up to in the world, Rebecca. It's like I would follow you off a cliff, girl.
No, I'll be careful where I walk.
It's like you are such a wonderful example of creating a game in the world for others to powerfully come and play with you in. And I have loved participating in, several of the things that I've been lucky enough to participate in the world with you. So along came this, like another wonderful opportunity to be in your game in the world, so to speak. And then when I saw the title and the banner, the cover, all of it, it was so inspiring to me. Come out of hiding and shine. So what I did actually was I went into contemplation and I looked to see where that title struck me in my heart and what it meant to me. And sort of like yourself, actually, Rebecca, I looked back to my childhood and I almost didn't speak at all at home ever until I was 12 years old. And it was because I was so afraid of my father. And so I intentionally became very quiet and invisible. And when I look at where I started, which is there, and then look at my life, like the movie of my life and where I am now and all that I've done and been through, you know, I've traveled internationally teaching seminars and been on stages in front of 500 people and so forth, and talk about coming out of hiding. So I looked at where I started and where I ended, and the name of my chapter is Divine Messages, and what became clear to me was at every major divergent turning point that I took one more step out of hiding, some divine message directed me all along the way, and they came in many forms. And I decided it was time to share that and share it in such a way that other people could begin to listen more acutely to their own divine messages.
Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that and your heart in this, and I enjoy playing with you as well. So I'm glad to have you join us on this project. A very, very much an honor. And our next co-author I wanted to introduce to you is Nancy Monson. She is a life and business coach. She has an MBA in organizational development, a human design and empowerment expert, and is passionate about helping women step into their leadership role. Please lean in and warmly welcome the amazing Nancy Monson to the show. Welcome.
Whoopee. Thank you so much, Rebecca.
Yay!
I feel like I should take a bow.
Exactly. Wow. Well, you are very welcome.
Thank you.
Well, do you mind sharing with us the name of your chapter and why you decided to be part of this project?
Oh, yes, Rebecca. Thank you so much. And, it's interesting, this whole process. When when we'd been chatting in a couple of different calls, and you mentioned that this book project was coming, and you sort of encouraged me. You said, you have this great story, I really feel like you should be part of this book. And I sat with it, and, my divine guidance to follow on with Kathleen I needed to be part of this book, and I really trusted, when I talk about trusting that my soul knows the way, I trust that guidance, and sometimes I really don't know where it's going to lead. And so this process, when I agreed, this process started of, okay, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to say? I have this life of huge amounts of experiences, et cetera, et cetera. And then on a run one morning, it came to me that what I needed to share was a really dark time in my life that was my spiritual crisis of meaning, as some people put it. And that led me through recounting that as I was writing my chapter. This came out of me that it led me to realize, oh my gosh, I have been this chronic overachiever because of not being seen and recognized by my mother. My mother had an idea of what it meant to be a good Christian mother back in her era, in her day, and it wasn't to have a college degree. It wasn't to have a big career on a woman's own. It was really to be in service of a man and her family. And that was not what I wanted. And it led me to this chronic drive to accomplish in hopes that I would somehow satisfy her. So that helped me to understand my own journey. And then, like you, when you introduced me, I work with women leaders. I've been an executive and life coach for years, and it never fails that in the work I do with women, we run into this same different version, but the same outcome, where they feel like they're never enough, that they have this inner critic that won't let them go, and it keeps them trapped in their own self-limiting framework, in their own self-limiting belief, and doubting that they really can have a life that really helps them be their full brilliance. So the chapter name actually came at the end of me writing the whole chapter, and it was so clear. It was the dark night that spawned my liberation. because it was out of that dark night of my massive crisis that I had while I was in a professional position with an executive coaching or consulting firm that led me to my spiritual awakening and realizing that I needed to break myself out and liberate myself from that inner prison. And that's what I hope I can share with the book.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate your passion. And those of you who are wondering, her title, and I made this comment too when you shared it, it's dramatic, but the way she tells a story, her story is as well. So I know you're really going to enjoy leaning into her chapter and how she'll captivate you from the beginning.
Well, thanks, Rebecca.
Absolutely. We're leaning into our next break here. So listeners, I look forward to talking to you in just a moment.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for people like you. With just one 7-minute audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities. This is a dynamic way to share your message, reach more people, and expand your impact. Apply now at yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent. Finalists get to audition live in front of community leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Don't wait. Find out more. Visit yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent.
The Ugly Awkward Dance Show is designed to help you move through those ugly, awkward, and uncomfortable life experiences. You know what we're talking about. Did you know that each challenge brings a gift? Once you figured that out, even the toughest challenge almost becomes fun. Each program includes engaging guests who talk about what they've overcome, as well as a mindful movement exercise to help you move through your emotional blocks. Yes, there will be awkward dancing too. Visit theuglyawkwarddance.com. Age with Attitude TV is for the woman who does not see her future as a nice little old lady, but rather she sees herself living a bold, juicy, kick-ass second half. Now, if this is the life you want for your second 50, then Age with Attitude TV is for you. You'll find stories to inspire you, plus money and metabolism tips that really work. Check it all out at agewithattitude.tv. Presented by Jan Rose Distel. Find us on voiceamerica.tv. And remember, it's never too late to create a life you love.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation. Voice America Women. Your passion starts here.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-613-1612. That's 1-866-613-1612. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that last segment, and I hope that you could hear and feel what I did as they started to share their why. I could feel this expanse of passion and energy. You can see that this wasn't a light decision that they made. They really sat with, am I called to be part of this? And what am I called to share? And you can hear what was laid on their heart to bring forward to you. And they honored that. As I've been reading each of your chapters, it's been, again, just transformational for me. I'm so honored with the depth of sharing, the wisdom each of you are bringing forward, your passion, your conviction of here's how I can help others shine. Here's the life lesson, or here's the thing I have learned that I can help make other people's lives and journeys easier, smoother, more powerful as they're looking to shine, that they can step forward with this information. They can move forward powerfully, and there's an excitement in that. So I asked each of the authors behind the scenes if they would just share a little bit more of, maybe give you a preview or a teaser of what you can look forward to in reading their chapters. We want you to have something to look forward to lean into for you. And we're going to encourage you, I actually encourage you to write down the name of the chapter or the author's name, because there are going to be over 30 of them. And I really want you to read those chapters that resonate with you. And I, of course, want you to read the whole book, but you may not want to read it all in one sitting because you want to process the wisdom being shared. So really write down the name of the authors today and the title of their chapter that's resonating with you the most, because that's the section I want you to lean into first, to really say yes to. Because there's a reason you're on our show today listening. There's a reason that their message has sparked something in you and touched your heart. So be on the lookout to lean into that. Wonderful. So let's see. Nancy, I'm going to start with you. And would you mind sharing your exotic, powerful title again with us? And give us a bit of a preview or a teaser around your chapter. I know you shared some of what will be in there, but I wanted them to also know that as they lean into your chapter, maybe something they would walk away with, or a tool or resource that would help them on their journey.
Sure, be happy to, Rebecca. So, again, the title of my chapter is The Dark Night That Spawned My Liberation. Mm-hmm. And what I have learned, I shared this a little bit before the break, what I've learned is not only from my own journey, but from the literally hundreds of women that I've worked with, is that it's pretty much unanimous that we all as women, even though there was the women's liberation of the 60s and 70s, we still are not liberated within ourselves, that we are limited to what we will allow ourselves to step into, to lean into, to bring out our full brilliance because of these self-imposed limiting beliefs, self-criticism, doubts that we have about our value and our worthiness. And that's really what my chapter is about. It's meant to inspire and guide and help a woman understand how she can find her own inner liberation and really bring her full value out to shine.
Beautiful. I love that, her full value out to shine. Really beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that.
Sure. You're welcome. Thank you.
So, Kathleen Sims, do you mind sharing your divine title as well, and something that our listeners could lean into, look forward to in your chapter?
Yes, absolutely. And I'm enjoying all the references to the divine. And the name of my chapter is Divine Messages. And what I want for people is to be inspired that life sometimes knocks us down beyond where we think we can get back up, and that we are powerful beings and can, in fact, get back up, and that I reflected on several different times in my life when, I thought people went through the dark night of the soul maybe once. Well, in my life, it looks like there were several times, and every time it was I came out of hiding once again and rose higher and higher, if you will. So it was like stair steps, maybe going 3 steps forward and 2 steps back, and then that happening again. And along the way, I didn't recognize at the time necessarily that the turning points in each of those was a delivered divine message to me. And sometimes when it was happening, I didn't recognize it as such until after the fact. Mm-hmm. So part of what I really want to offer the listeners and the people who read this wonderful book is to take some time to review their own life and look to see if, in fact, weren't there many forms of divine messages that came your way that helped you come out of hiding at some point in your life, and that can help you in the future come even more out of hiding and be present and leaning into life itself. And I was reflecting in my chapter about how many different forms divine messages can come in. Sometimes it was a vision for me. Sometimes it was a message in my own head. And one time there's an impactful part of my story where it was my daughter screaming at me. And later I realized it was a divine message. But I'm telling you, at the time it was happening, I didn't recognize it as such. I told her to, sit down and be quiet and stop talking to me like that. And the result of that particular circumstance is I lost 40 pounds without dieting in 8 weeks. And it came out of this exchange with my daughter, with her yelling at me that I was playing small in the world and I better come out and engage as the powerful person I am. When it was happening, though, it didn't sound like a divine message to me at all.
I appreciate that, because you're correct. It can come in a lot of different ways and not always the way we want to hear.
Yes, and that's what also makes it hard to recognize sometimes. And act upon it, like take it serious and act upon it.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. And I want to echo her wisdom that she shared with you. Really, this is a living book that is designed to serve and support all of you. I'm really proud of it and proud of those who have leaned in and said yes in the way that they're sharing, and where, just like this show, where you get the most out of it is how you let it interact with you. So I encourage you to create that space as you are leaning into that book and that pause and that reflection. So great reminder, beautiful share. Thank you, Kathleen.
Mm-hmm.
So Kathleen Zemansky, do you mind sharing your brilliant title as well and share a little bit of what they can expect in your chapter and lean into?
Sure. The title of my book, again, is On the Brink of Brilliance. And even though I didn't write about this in the book, I think it's a good precursor to what I'm about to say, and that is I am from a Eastern European family from the Midwest, and like Nancy had spoke, maybe different story, but kind of the same storyline is, I was sitting around as a little girl, being groomed as a very little girl to be a mother of 5, just like my mother, and be a housewife and, that kind of thing. And when feng shui, astrology, and the timing piece that I do actually found me, it was a revelation that I knew that this was what I wanted to do, despite what my friends, family, even, other business people, it's like, why are you doing that when you have so much potential to do other things? But those other things, even though I think I would have been very good at doing, I wasn't passionate about it. And so my message would be to anyone that is reading, our chapters. I'm going to just collectively, because I know that there are messages woven throughout in this beautiful tapestry that we're creating, that there are going to be people along your path, your journey of your passion, that are going to tell you, what the heck are you doing that for? And if you really believe in what you do, don't listen to them. Just don't listen to them. Even your most dear loved ones. I mean, I couldn't even say even my husband at certain points of my career is like, you might think about, doing something that might be more suited for your skill set. And I believe, and he was equating that with money versus following my passion, and the money will follow, and it has. But I had to be patient enough to believe in myself to really put down the shields that were up in front of me. And I'm talking about the friends and family and other people that were seeing, the work that I was doing. They had not quite seen the value of what I was bringing to the world. So that's the message that I would say to listeners and readers, that if you believe in what you're doing, and even if it is some obscure thing that may not be the norm of, a 9-to-5 job or a corporate job or whatever that this, your society and culture dictates, and you believe that there's something else in you, water that seed and let it grow and blossom and keep moving forward. And don't listen to the naysayers, I would say, is the thing that I would say.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I so appreciate your wisdom on that. And I just echo it so much, what you shared, that so often what we're called to do, the vision that we have, is our vision to bring forward. And that's sometimes why others don't see it and don't quite understand it, is because it's the thing we're called to bring forward. And we're called to build that bridge, and then they'll see it. But we have to kind of lead that charge and really stay true to what it is we're called to build. And I know, Kathleen, you've heard me share this, Kathleen Zemansky, and I believe Nancy, both, I think all of you, that really when people start saying those things to you, they start saying, I've never seen it done like that before. I'm not quite sure that'll work. And, that's not really how we do things, but you can see it and what I want you to hear is opportunity. You're just the first one there. You get to build that vision. So, really.
If I could add just one real quick thing, if I could, is you hear a lot
actually,
of
Kathleen, Kathleen, if I can have you hold that thought, because we're going into a break.
Absolutely.
So that'll be the teaser that we'll come back and share. So listeners, I really want you to hold this thought about what you're called to bring forward. And just see if you've heard some of those phrases, because perhaps that's where you should be hearing opportunity. And then we'll hear Kathleen's amazing additional share when we come back. We'll look forward to talking to you in just a moment.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for people like you. With just one 7-minute audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities. This is a dynamic way to share your message, reach more people, and expand your impact. Apply now at yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent. Finalists get to audition live in front of community leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Don't wait. Find out more. Visit yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent.
Are you ready for your rush of success? I'm Jim T. Chong, the walk star.
And I'm Cami Ferry, the theater queen, the host of Rush Hour for Success on Money 105.5 on Thursdays and Fridays at 2 p.m. It's about getting entertained and getting solutions for your success in life and business.
Visit us on Facebook at Money 105.5 FM Rush Hour for Success, or download the Money 105.5 app on your phone for the live stream. That's Thursdays and Fridays, 2 p.m. Pacific Time. Get entertained,
get educated, and get your rush on
Rush Hour for Success.
The Ugly Awkward Dance Show is designed to help you move through those ugly, awkward, and uncomfortable life experiences. You know what we're talking about. Did you know that each challenge brings a gift? Once you figured that out, even the toughest challenge almost becomes fun. Each program includes engaging guests who talk about what they've overcome, as well as a mindful movement exercise to help you move through your emotional blocks. Yes, there will be awkward dancing too. Visit theuglyawkwarddanceshow.com.
The Voice America Women's Channel.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-613-1612. That's 1-866-613-1612. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Well, everybody, welcome back. I hope that you enjoyed our cliffhanger there, that we have more wisdom to share with you, but that you really took a moment to sit with, are you having some of those callings on your heart? Maybe you're seeing a vision, or you're feeling this pull to bring forward something that's just a little bit different. Maybe it's a different perspective. It's connecting things in a different way. It's sharing them in this way. And you can just see how it plays out. And yet others aren't seeing it yet. And you're hearing some of those phrases about well, I don't see how that's going to work, or I'm not sure that that's really what you should be doing. No one in our family's done it that way, or I don't know anyone that's done it that way, and I just don't want you to fall down or not be successful. Those are indicators that you're the first one there. So I really encourage you to sit in that space and really see, am I the one to bring this forward? And if so, know that it will come full circle, that you'll get to build the bridge and then they'll get to follow. They'll get to see how it connects. But that, to me, when people say those things or you hear those things, that means you're the first one there. Opportunity. So I want to encourage you to celebrate when you hear those phrases. Be encouraged that you're the first one there, that you get to bring this thing forward and lean in. That may be the way that you are called to serve in the world. It may be the way you're called to shine. Now, I have asked each of our guest experts today, our amazing co-authors of this transformational book, to really share a final tip and thought as you are going back out into the world, what they would share with you, what thought they'd want to have you bring forward as you are going out in the world and shining, stepping forward, one more step, one more heartbeat, one more shine at a time. They said yes, and we're going to open up the floor to share that. But before I do, I told you in the very beginning I would let you know how to get on the list so that you can be in the know of when we release the book. If we have the pre-order opportunity, that you could lean into some special rates there, both in the Kindle version as well as in the softcover version. You want to go to our gift page. So for those of you who haven't visited it before, it's called radiogifts.net. It's plural. There are multiple gifts.net, N-E-T. It's a net of gifts, radiogifts.net. Just enter in your name and email address, and that will automatically put you on my list so I can stay in touch with you and make sure that you know about this book as well as other opportunities that we have that will be coming soon to a computer near you. So we want to keep you in the loop. And as a bonus, when you look in that radiogifts.net, you're going to see actually hundreds of free gifts to serve and support you on your journey. So take a moment to lean in to what will serve and support you, because we want to equip and empower you to go out in the world powerfully, to live on purpose, with purpose, and shine. So let me go back to our amazing guests today as we tap into their wisdom one more time. So let's start with Kathleen Zemansky. Do you mind sharing? I know you had an additional thought you wanted to share and a tip to really empower us today. What would you like to share with us? What was laid on your heart?
Sure. When we were talking in that last segment is, a lot of times you're going to hear a lot of compliments along the way. It's not all people that are going to be knocking you down, but the thing that I would say is when you do hear someone criticize or be in that space of, not really seeing your value or passion, you have to disconnect from that and really build on the ones that are supporting you and seeing your value. I would say that is one of the things that you can really build your shining much quicker than if you get tarnished by someone who is trying to take you down. So I'll leave it at that for right now. There's a lot of other tips in the book, but that's what I would say. I would definitely say is disconnect from people that are trying to tarnish you instead of make you shine and polish your image.
Absolutely. Great advice that you can really choose the relationships and how you're in them as you are going out there in the world, and to be very purposeful in that, because we all have, all of you are a sacred gift to the world and worthy of nourishment and protection and of huge value. But you've got to be part of that interaction of protecting you and bringing forward the gifts that you're called to bring to the world. So beautiful reminder. Thank you, Kathleen.
Absolutely.
Nancy, how about you? What's on your heart to share?
Well, thanks. So, gosh, there's so much wonderful things that have been shared today with everybody, and it has created, a lot of different ideas for me. But what comes back to me as kind of the essence I think this ties in with what both Kathleen's are talking about and what you've shared, Rebecca, is actually the title of my chapter, The Dark Night That Spawned My Liberation. And it's dark nights. It's the crisis of meaning that we have that lead to expansion. One of my dear friends and mentors, Dr. Frances Vaughn, she said that all dark nights precede expansion. So they may feel like it's the end of our lives and the end of our sanity, but if we can stick with them and go through them with help, whether it's the supporting people that Kathleen's talking about or whether it's, working with a mentor or a coach or a therapist, to make it through those dark nights, we will come through a greater, more brilliant, more golden expression of who we're meant to be.
Beautiful.
That's my tip.
Beautiful. I love that. It's really leaning in and going through and looking for that with that hope. Looking for that.
Yes.
Versus backing away from or not leaning in. Beautiful. Thank you for your share and wisdom. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So, Kathleen Sims, in about 30 seconds to a minute, can you share your wisdom and tip with us?
Yes, and it's been so great being with all three of you on this radio show, and I'm very struck by the golden thread that has run through all of our stories and the central theme, if you will. And one thing I've heard and I live by is the quality of my life is a reflection of the quality of the questions I ask myself. Mm-hmm. And so I want to leave your listeners and readers with a question. And that question is, when you hear these limiting things in your own head or from others, to ask yourself, does that have to be true for me? Mm-hmm. Powerful question. Does that have to be true for me? So, I got married when I was 16. People said it wouldn't work. 4 decades later, I was still with my husband. Mm-hmm. People said, you can't be a counselor or a teacher. You have to go to college. And I said, watch me. Does that have to be true for me? No. Yep. So I leave everyone with that question. Any limited anything from others or yourself, does that have to be true for you?
Wonderful question. And I love that it's really sitting with it and asking. Beautiful, beautiful question. So I encourage all of you to do that. As you feel or hear some of those limiting things come up, really see, does that have to be true for me? Beautiful question. Well, I want to thank all of you amazing co-authors for being part of this amazing book and sharing from your hearts so powerfully today. I thank you all for joining us. Listeners, thank you for being part of this amazing series. I hope that you tune into the remaining special interviews that we have with our authors. I know they will be enriching to you. I'm enjoying them, and I hope they're a very high level of service. I want to thank Voice America for creating the space for this series, leaning in and saying yes. Matt, thank you for your amazing technical expertise and keeping us on track. I appreciate that. And listeners, as you go forth in the world, wherever you go, whatever you do, I hope that you choose to bloom where you're planted, come out of hiding if you're hiding in any way, and shine. We look forward to talking to you next week.
Thank you for joining us this week for Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. Please tune in again for another edition with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter, next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific on the Voice America Women's Channel. And join us for a replay of the show every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Pacific on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Have a beautiful week, and may you always bloom where you're planted and shine.